3 legions, 20,000 soldiers, the finest fighting force the ancient world had ever seen. They marched into a forest in Germania in the year 9 AD. They never came out. No retreat. No survivors. No mercy. Rome, the empire that crushed Carthage, swallowed Egypt, and made kings kneel, was annihilated in 3 days inside a dark Germanic forest. But here is what makes this different from every other military disaster in history. The man who built the trap was trained by Rome itself. At the dawn of the 1st century AD, Rome was not just powerful, it was inevitable. Every army that had faced it, broken. Every king who had defied it, humiliated or dead. By the year 6 AD, Rome believed Germania was next. Not a question of if, only when. Roman governors already sat in Germanic territory. Roman taxes were being collected. Roman culture was spreading west of the Rhine. As far as Emperor Augustus was concerned, Germania was already Roman. It just didn't know it yet. But deep inside the forest, something was being built in silence. A plan. A betrayal. A trap so perfect that Rome would never see it coming. His name was Publius Quinctilius Varus, Roman governor, military commander, trusted by Augustus himself. Varus was not a fool. He was experienced and disciplined. He had governed Syria, one of Rome's most complex provinces, with competence. But Varus had one dangerous flaw. He saw what he wanted to see, and what he wanted to see in Germania was order. Standing beside him was a man named Arminius, a Germanic prince, son of a chieftain of the Cherushi tribe, but no stranger to Rome. Arminius had been taken from his homeland as a boy, part of a diplomatic arrangement. He was raised inside the Roman military system. He spoke Latin. He earned Roman citizenship. He reached the rank of equestrian, a mark of honor among Rome's elite. He knew Roman tactics, Roman formations, Roman psychology. He understood how a Roman commander thinks, how a Roman legion moves, how Roman discipline becomes Roman rigidity in the wrong terrain. Varus saw a loyal ally, a success story. What he did not see, what he refused to see, was the fury underneath, because Arminius had never forgotten who he was, and for years in secret, around fires deep in the forest, he had been uniting the Germanic tribes, not for Rome, against it. Autumn 9 AD. Varus commands 3 full Roman legions, the 17th, 18th, and 19th. Roughly 20,000 soldiers, a column stretching for miles across Germanic territory. Then Arminius arrives with news, a rebellion, a minor uprising, a small tribe causing unrest to the northeast. Nothing serious, he says, a routine matter. March the legions through the Teutoburg forest, suppress it, show Roman power. Varus believes him. There were warnings. A chieftain named Segestes went to Varus directly. Do not trust Arminius. This is a trap. Varus dismissed it. Political noise between rival chiefs. He ordered the march. Imagine watching that column move into the forest. The trees press in from both sides. The canopy swallows the sky. The ground turns soft beneath their boots, mud pulling at every step. This is not Roman terrain. Romans fight in open fields. They build formations. Their entire military doctrine depends on space, structure, and geometry. Here, there is no space. The forest is ancient and suffocating. The paths are so narrow the column stretches beyond sight. The front cannot reach the rear. Units lose each other between the trees. And then it begins to rain. Cold, heavy, relentless. The Romans push forward, and somewhere in the dark between the trees, thousands of Germanic warriors are already in position, waiting, watching, silent. The attack comes without warning, not from one direction, from every direction. Germanic warriors explode from the trees, screaming, hurling spears, loosing arrows, then vanish back into the forest before Romans can form a response. Chaos. The column buckles. Men at the front are hit. Men at the rear are hit. The middle has no idea what is happening at either end. Commanders shout orders no one can hear over the noise, the screaming, the crash of shields, the rain. The Romans try to do what they are trained to do. They attempt to form their battle lines, shield walls, coordinated formations, the tactics that had broken armies across the Mediterranean world. But the forest will not allow it. Trees break every line. Roots and mud swallow every advance. The moment a unit forms up, the enemy strikes from a different angle, then disappears back into the dark. There is no enemy to charge, no army standing across a field waiting for impact. Only shadows, only screaming from places you cannot see, only the man beside you going down. Arminius has chosen this ground with surgical precision. He has built earthen ramparts in the trees, low walls that funnel the column, that direct their movement, that cut off every escape route. Roman soldiers who had never broken in open battle begin to panic. Units become isolated. Officers make desperate decisions with no information. Cavalry charge into terrain that turns horses into liabilities. The killing is methodical. Arminius does not need one decisive blow. He needs only to prevent them from leaving. Night falls. The Romans make camp. Tend to the wounded. Wait for dawn. But morning brings no relief. The attacks resume, and the forest seems to grow tighter with every hour. By the third day, the legions are gone as a fighting force. What remains is not an army. It is thousands of exhausted, wounded, starving men, trapped between walls of trees and walls of enemies, with no formation left, no command, no path to safety. Some cavalry break through and ride hard for the Rhine. They carry the nightmare with them. But the legions themselves, the 17th, 18th, 19th, are being dismantled piece by piece. Varus watches his world collapse. Surrounded, defeated, no way out. He falls on his own sword. His officers follow. When it ends, somewhere between 15 and 20,000 Roman soldiers are dead. Captured survivors are executed on Germanic altars. The sacred eagle standards of all three legions are taken as trophies. The unit numbers, the 17th, 18th, 19th, were never used again in the entire remaining history of Rome, as if Rome could not bear to speak those numbers aloud. When Augustus received the news, those who witnessed it said he wandered his palace for days, refusing to eat, crying out into empty corridors, "Varus, give me back my legions." Rome did not go quietly. In the years that followed, Roman armies returned, punitive, ferocious. They recovered some of the lost eagles. They brought destruction to the tribes that had taken part. But they never stayed. The Rhine became the line, not a temporary border, a permanent one. Rome, which had pushed to Britain in the north, Mesopotamia in the east, the Sahara in the south, could not cross the Rhine. The Germanic peoples were never Romanized, never absorbed. And those same peoples, the Franks, the Saxons, the Goths, would one day tear the Western Roman Empire apart from the inside. The languages they built would shape half the modern world. The cultures they forged would define medieval Europe, all of it tracing back to 3 days in a dark forest, to one man who learned Rome's secrets from the inside, to one commander who could not imagine being betrayed by someone he trusted. Rome conquered the known world, but a forest, and the man who knew how to use it, stopped them cold. And the world that grew on the other side of that border is the world we live in today.